The air was filled with smoke, fire, and screaming metal. Explosions echoed across the battlefield as ships crashed, and the ground trembled like it was alive. Among the chaos, a human engineer named Cole ran through the crumbling ruins, trying to reach his squad. But before he could take another step, the ground beneath him cracked open. He fell hard. His body slammed against metal pipes and broken stone as he dropped into the darkness. Then silence. When Cole opened his eyes, everything was black. T tried to move, but pain shot through his ribs. Blood dripped from a gash on his forehead. His backpack was gone. His cums were dead. His water supply had shattered in the fall. He was completely alone. Or so he thought. As he lay there, catching his breath in the stillness, he heard something. A whisper. Weak. Shaky. "You're not one of them, are you?" He froze. The voice had come from the corner of the bunker. His heart pounded. He reached for a small flashlight from his belt and clicked it on. The beam of light flickered, weak and dying, but it revealed something. Someone. Curled up in the corner was a girl, no, not a human girl. Her skin was a soft, glowing blue and faint. Lines of light ran through her arms like veins. She was thin, her body shaking from cold and fear. Her hair fell over her face, and her hands were bound with metal cuffs that had long since rusted. Cole's voice was rough. "Who are you?" She looked up slowly. Her eyes were large, glowing slightly, full of fear and something else. "Hope I'm not dangerous," she whispered. "I was left here, long ago." Cole crawled closer, wincing. His throat was dry. Every breath felt like knives in his lungs. "What is this place?" "A prison bunker," she said. "For those like me? I've been here. Many cycles." He looked around. The walls were covered in old alien markings. Broken lights, no doors, no exits. Just the shaft above him that had collapsed after he fell in. No way out. "I'm going to die in here," he muttered, pressing a hand to his side. The wound was bleeding badly. The alien girl watched him silently, then looked away, ashamed. "You will die," she said quietly. Unless you drink from me." Cole blinked. "What?" She hesitated, her face turning even paler. "Body. It still produces nourishment. It's how our kind survive long isolations. But it only works when shared, directly." He stared at her. Was she serious? Was this a trap? But his vision was already going dark at the edges. His lips were cracking. He hadn't drunk water since the day before, and now the pain in his side was growing. Didn't have hours, maybe not even minutes. "Why help me?" he asked barely, able to keep his eyes open. "Because," she said, almost in tears, "I don't want to be alone when I die." Silence filled the air. Heavy, sad. Then, finally, Cole gave a slow nod. The girl sat up with great effort, her hands trembling as she pulled aside a part of her torn clothing. Her body shook with fear, not from him but from shame. Her culture, her biology, had never been meant to be shared with humans. Cole leaned forward, his hands shaking, and brought his lips to her glowing skin. The first taste was strange sweet, thick, and warm, but something inside him responded to it instantly. Within seconds, he felt life returning to his limbs. His headache eased. His breathing slowed. Even his wound began to throb less. When he pulled back, he stared at her in shock. "What was that?" She didn't answer. She only looked away and whispered, "You'll need more. Later." The light flickered again, died completely. Now only her skin glowed in the darkness. She looked like a faint blue star in the middle of the void. Cole lay beside her, still weak, but no longer dying. He realized she had saved him. But he also understood the truth. They were both trapped. The exit was sealed. The food was gone. But now they had each other, and a strange bond had just begun. One that neither of them could explain. Then, from above, the faint sound of scratching. Came something was moving in the tunnels. Something else had found them. ***. The sound was faint at first, like claws dragging over old metal. Cole turned his head slowly toward the shaft above, eyes wide, trying not to breathe too loud. The girl beside him stiffened, her glow dimming as if her body was reacting to fear. Something was out there. Neither of them spoke. The air felt heavier, now thick with danger. They heard it again, a slow scrape, followed by a soft growl that didn't sound natural, wasn't human, and it definitely wasn't friendly. Cole pushed himself upright, his strength barely returning, but the pain in his side had eased. That strange liquid from the alien girl was keeping him alive, maybe even healing him. She watched him silently, clutching the edge of the wall like a child afraid of being seen. "What is it?" Cole whispered. She didn't answer right away. Her lips trembled. They called them bone scavengers. Creatures born from the war above. They crawl through old tunnels, looking for heat, sound, flesh. They smell you, they tear everything. "Great," Cole muttered, checking his side, still bleeding but slower now. He looked around for anything he could use as a weapon. Rusted pipes, a broken piece of panel, shattered cables. Nothing that could kill a monster. The girl sat down beside him, trying not to cry. "I've stayed quiet for years. That's how I survived. But now, with you here, they'll hear us."
Yes,
Cole looked at her, then at his own shaking hands.
I will.
"Figure something out." He used some wires to create a kind of tripwire near the tunnel, wrapping it tightly across the entrance to the chamber. Then he stacked metal plates against the weak wall, just in case they needed to shield themselves. Time passed slowly. Minutes felt like hours. Eventually, the sounds faded, but the fear didn't. Cole collapsed next to her, both of them exhausted. She opened her mouth, hesitated, and finally whispered, "Your body is reacting to my milk." "I noticed," he replied, trying to smile. "I didn't think it would work," she said quietly. "Your kind is so different. I thought it would poison you." "It didn't," he said. "Actually, it saved me." She looked at her own hands as if ashamed. "Back home, we were punished for producing milk too early. It means our bodies are flawed. I was sent here because I was too young, useless to them, unfit for breeding." Cole blinked. "They abandoned you for that." She nodded, looking down. "Was told I would be forgotten." He didn't know what to say. All he could do was sit beside her, breathing her faint glow, thinking of the world he'd fallen from. War, dust, fire, and now this. An alien girl who kept him alive with something meant for her own kind, all while carrying the shame of being unwanted. Later that night, hunger returned. She said nothing. She only turned her back, lowered her head, and waited. Cole reached forward gently, not out of desire but out of survival. Her skin was warm, her breath was shallow. Again, the moment he drank, something shifted in his body. His heart slowed. The pain in his ribs dulled. His vision sharpened, like his eyes had adjusted to the dark in a way they never had before. When he pulled back, he noticed something odd. His fingertips were faintly glowing. She gasped, "You're changing." Cole stared. At his hands? "Is that normal?" "No," she whispered. "Not even for our kind. It means your blood is accepting mine." He didn't know what that meant. Neither did she. But the air between them had changed. It wasn't just about survival anymore. That night, they slept. Closer glow keeping them warm, his body finally resting. But just as they drifted off, the scratching returned, louder, closer. And this time, didn't stop. Asterisk, the scratching didn't fade this time. It grew louder, more urgent, like claws. Grinding on steel, Cole snapped awake and reached for the broken pipe he had set beside him. His hands trembled, but his body felt stronger than it had since the fall. The alien girl was already up, her glowing skin dim and flickering like a candle in the wind. Her wide eyes stared at the tunnel. "It's coming inside," she whispered. The tripwire snapped with a soft click. Then silence, but only for a moment. The sound of something large, dragging itself across metal, echoed through the narrow chamber. Heavy, wet, hungry. Cole stepped forward, careful, shielding her behind him. "Where can we hide?" he whispered. "There's nowhere," she said. This bunker was built to trap, it's not to escape. Suddenly, something moved at the edge of the light. It's a massive shape slick with slime, its bones exposed through patches of its leathery skin. It had no eyes, only long tendrils that waved through the air, sniffing. Sensing, Cole's breath caught. The creature sniffed the space slowly and then hissed. It turned sharply toward the glow of the alien girl. She gasped. It sees my light. Without thinking, Cole grabbed the small flashlight and threw it across the room, clattered against the far wall, drawing the beast's attention for a second. That second was all he needed. He rushed forward, swinging the broken pipe with full force. It struck the creature's side, making it screech and flail. One of its tendrils slapped across Cole's shoulder, throwing him into the wall. The pain was sharp, but something strange happened. Instead of breaking, his shoulder cracked, and then, reset in its own, he stood back up. Even the girl stared, frozen. You healed. He didn't understand it. His wound, deep just hours ago, was sealed. The bruise on his ribs had faded. His skin glowed faintly under his clothes, and his breath came easier now, smoother. The alien milk, it was doing more than just healing him. It was changing him. Cole roared and lunged again. This time, he didn't aim to scare the creature, he aimed to kill it. Using the metal pipe and pure adrenaline, he stabbed into one of its softer parts. The creature screeched again, twisted, and fled back through the tunnel it had come from. Silence. Returned, Cole dropped to one knee, panting. The alien girl ran to him, her hands touching his chest gently. Your heart, it's beating too fast. Your body is adapting too quickly. He looked at her, sweat pouring down his face. What's happening to me? I don't know, she whispered, eyes wide with fear and wonder. What my milk is meant? To keep one alive, not turn them into this? Into what? He asked, voice shaking. She hesitated, and she said something in her own language. It sounded soft, melodic, but full of meaning. He didn't understand the words, but for a moment, part of his mind sparked like he had heard it before. He looked at her closely. Say it again? She did, and he understood. His eyes widened. You just said, one who bonds with the blood of the exiled. She stepped back. Don't know, he replied, confused. I felt it. They stared at each other for a long time. Something deeper was happening between them, something neither of them had expected. Not just survival, not just nourishment, connection, bonding. He could now feel her emotions not clearly, but like faint ripples in water. Her fear, her guilt, her deep hidden longing to be touched, not as a shameful exile, but as someone who mattered. The silence broke when the walls of the bunker gave. A low groan, another tremor. Then part of the floor shifted. The girl screamed, pulling Cole back as the ground under him gave way. A section of metal sank downward, revealing a hidden passage, rusted stairs leading deeper underground. She stared at it, shaking her head. That wasn't here before, I swear it was sealed. Cole looked down into the dark stairwell. Warm air rose from below, mixed with a strange scent like ancient flowers and something burnt. He turned to her. We're not safe here anymore. We need to see what's down there. Her hand gripped his arm tightly. We go. We might not come back. He placed his hand gently on hers, his skin still faintly glowing. Then we go together. With one last look behind them, they stepped into the unknown. The darkness swallowed them whole, but they were no longer afraid of the dark. Asterisk. The stairs creaked under their weight. Every step echoed like thunder in the silence below. The deeper they went, the warmer it became, almost like the air itself was breathing. Cole walked ahead, holding a broken pipe like a weapon, while the alien girl followed close behind, her faint blue glow lighting the walls around them. They didn't speak. Words weren't enough anymore. Something old and hidden was waiting beneath. The stairwell opened into a wide, dome-like chamber buried deep in the earth. Strange lights pulsed from the wall's soft blue lines that seemed alive. Vines had grown over broken machines. Some of them still hummed. Others sparked quietly. Cole froze. In the center of the room stood a large pod glass and metal, cracked but still sealed. It was shaped like an egg, and inside it something glowed. The alien girl gasped. "This is a queen's cradle." Cole turned to her. "What does that mean?" She moved slowly toward it, her glowing fingers brushing the side of the pod. "Our queens rest in cradles like these when they are too wounded to fight or too old to lead. Only a bonded mate can awaken one." He blinked. "Bonded?" She turned to him, her expression unreadable. "It's a sacred link, created through milk, touch, and shared emotion." Cole swallowed hard. He looked down at his own hands. They were glowing again, not brightly, but enough that the pod responded with a faint hum. He took a step closer, and the hum grew louder. The girl backed. "Away." "No, that's not possible." He looked at her. "What's happening?" "The cradle is reacting to you." He stared at the pod, didn't understand its symbols or its purpose, but his body felt something it felt. It was drawn, like it knew. This place, this room, as if his blood had been here before. But that was impossible. He was human, just a soldier, an engineer, no body, and yet his body didn't agree. Suddenly the walls flickered. A hidden panel on the far end of the room slid open, revealing a smaller tunnel lined with strange glyphs. Cole turned to the girl. "This was under you the whole time?" She shook her head. "I had no idea. This level was sealed when I was left above." Cole moved toward the new path. She followed him reluctantly. Inside the tunnel, they found a smaller room filled with dusty glass cases. Inside them books, scrolls, weapons, even bones of alien creatures long gone. On one of the walls was a faded mural, showed a tall, alien woman, a queen, with a human-like figure beside her. The two were holding hands. Between them, a child with glowing skin stood. Cole stared at it. She stepped beside him. "That's a myth. A story the elders told us. About the first hybrid. A human who bonded with a queen during the old wars. They called him the Lightbound." He looked at her. "You're saying that story is true?" "I don't know," she said softly. "No one ever saw him. The story says he disappeared after. The queen died. That he was lost forever." Cole turned away. Maybe it's just coincidence. But the girl didn't answer, because deep down, she didn't believe that anymore. As they walked back toward the cradle, the lights in the chamber pulsed faster. Pod began to glow brighter. Suddenly Cole fell to his knees. His head throbbed. With pain, visions flashed behind his eyes, battlefields of red skies, queens in silver armor, strange hands reaching toward him. He clutched his chest as the glow from his skin spread over his arms and neck. The girl rushed to his side, holding him. "What's happening to you?" He could barely speak. "I see them. I see your people. In my mind, close your eyes," she whispered. "Let me feel your heartbeat." She placed her hand over his chest, and her body lit up with his. For the first time, their energies touched not just skin, not just warmth, but something deeper, something ancient. Their breath synced. Their heartbeats slowed to match. The cradle. In the center of the room opened with a loud hiss. Mist poured out. Light filled the chamber. Inside, there was no queen, only bones. But cradled in her arms, touched by time, was a pendant. A smooth, glowing stone shaped like a TARDROP. Cole reached for it. The moment his fingers touched the pendant, the chamber shook violently. The girl screamed, "You activated it!" The pendant pulsed, once twice in, then vanished into his chest, sinking into his skin like it had. Always belonged there. Cole collapsed. His body stopped glowing, his heart stopped, and the alien girl cried out, thinking she had just lost him. Forever, * the moment the pendant vanished into his chest. Cole went still. His body didn't move. His chest didn't rise. No breath. No pulse. Nothing. The alien girl dropped beside him, her hands shaking. She placed her ear to his chest, searching for a sound, a heartbeat, anything. Silence. "No, no, no, don't do this," she whispered, tears forming in her eyes. Her fingers trembled as she held his face. "You can't die. Not now." Pressed her forehead to his, her skin glowed, but his didn't respond. She blamed herself. Her milk had changed him. Her touch had connected their minds. Now whatever that pendant was, it had taken him from her. She wept in the quiet chamber, her tears glowing as they fell across his skin. Then something strange happened. The air shifted, not like a breeze, but like a pulse through stone. The walls lit up with lines of alien language, bright and fast. The pod behind them sealed shut again, but now the bones inside it crumbled to dust. The pendant had chosen someone new. Suddenly, Cole's chest rose sharply, like his body gasped for air on its own. His eyes flew open, but they weren't the same. They glowed gold. The girl gasped and backed away, afraid. Cole. He sat up slowly, looking at his hands. They shimmered with the same light that once lived in the cradle. When he turned to look at her, his eyes, no longer purely human, held something ancient. "I saw it," he said softly. "Everything." She stepped closer, confused and cautious. "Saw what?" "Asterisk your history," he replied, his voice deeper now. "The fall of your queens. The war that broke your worlds. The bond between human and exile. It's not a myth. It happened long ago, and now it's happening again." The girl looked at him like she was seeing a ghost. "How do you know this?" "I don't know how," he said, holding his chest where the pendant had entered. "It's like it's a part of me now." He stood to his feet, stronger than ever before. His movements were balanced, calm, like his body had become something new, familiar. But enhanced, the girl reached for his hand slowly. Their fingers touched hand. This time, the connection was overwhelming. A sudden pulse of light burst between them. Visions flowed through both their minds. Images of ancient temples, of alien queens kneeling before human warriors, of children with glowing skin, half human, half Sile. The bond wasn't just emotional, it was genetic. It rewrote the very code of those who touched it. She pulled back, breathing fast. "You're becoming one of us," he nodded, "and you're becoming more human." Before either could say more, a loud roar echoed through the chambers above. The scavengers had returned. But this time it wasn't just one or two. Dozens. They had followed the vibrations. The activation of the cradle. The ancient signal released when the pendant accepted its new bearer. Cole turned toward the stairs. "They're coming. All of them." The girl's voice shook. "We can't fight them. We need to hide." "Oh," he said calmly, placing his hand on the wall. The glowing lines of language pulsed again beneath his palm. The floor shifted, the walls rearranged. A hidden armory revealed itself, a small chamber behind a false wall. Inside were weapons, armor, and sealed canisters. Old technology, Queen's tech. He picked up a metallic glove-like device and slipped it over his hand. It hummed to life, syncing with the energy in his chest. The girl watched, stunned. Only royal guardians could use those. "I think it's letting me. But you're not supposed to be here," he finished for her.
"I know."
She stepped beside him, opening a crate of glowing orbs. "These are burst lights. They blind scavengers. We'll need all of them." Footsteps, no. Cloths scraped above. Dust fell from the ceiling. Time was running out. The two of them, once strangers trapped in a dark bunker, now stood side by side, holding weapons neither of them had ever trained with. But something inside them had changed. She looked up at him. "If you die again, I won't survive it." He placed a hand on her cheek, his glowing eyes softening. "Then I won't die." When the first creature dropped into the chamber, Cole threw a burst light. The flash blinded it instantly. He moved fast, faster than a normal human ever could, slamming it back into the tunnel wall with a force that cracked the stone. The alien girl covered him from behind. Tossing canisters and setting traps, they fought like one, connected, and in the chaos of battle, something became clear. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was destiny. Asterisk, the last scavenger dropped with a sickening thud, its body twitching for a few seconds before going still. The chamber was quiet again, thick with smoke and blood and burning metal. The glow on Cole's arms faded slightly, but his body still pulsed with power energy that didn't feel fully his. The alien girl tired. Her face smeared with dust and glowing blood stood beside him. Her chest rose and fell with fast breaths. They had survived, but they were not safe. Cole looked toward the tunnel where the scavengers had entered. "There's more up there." She nodded slowly. "We need to leave. If we wait, the next wave will crush us." Cole stepped forward, leading the way back up the narrow stairs they had come down through earlier. The air was heavier now, as if something ancient had been disturbed, and the world above had noticed. He climbed slowly, alert, the glove still. Humming on his arm, the alien girl touched the wall as they passed. "The power in this place. It's fading." He glanced back at her. "It's done what it was meant to do, and what's that?" She asked softly. He didn't answer, because he didn't know. At the top of the stairs, the collapsed roof had shifted. The battle, the tremors. They had loosened the debris. With one hard shove, Cole pushed the stone aside. A sliver of light cut into the darkness, real sunlight. For the first time in cycles. The alien girl blinked up at the sky, her face bathed in golden light. Her skin shimmered softly like water under a warm sun. She stepped forward but froze. So did Cole, the world. Outside was not what it had been. The battlefield was silent. Burnt ruins stretched across the landscape. No gunfire. No smoke trails in the sky. The ships that once filled the air were going to destroyed or abandoned. The land was cracked, silent, dead. Cole stepped out fully and looked around. The war was over, but not in victory. Something had wiped everything out. He turned toward a broken sign buried in the dust. It had once marked the edge of a military zone. Now it was charred, half-melted, unreadable. He crouched beside a fallen helmet, his side's insignia. But inside it there was no head, no body, just ash. "What happened here?" he whispered. The alien girl knelt beside him. "I don't know, but it feels wrong. This place is not asleep. It's hiding." They moved slowly across the empty field. The sky above was pale, too pale. The clouds were still like painted canvas. Not even the wind made a sound. They reached the edge of a destroyed station, once a communication tower. Cole found an old power panel and tapped it. Nothing dead. He opened the emergency memory core, hoping to find a record. The screen flickered faintly low power. But then it played a final broadcast. "To all units, do not engage the artifact. Pete, do not engage." A signal from beneath, code unknown. Entire units disappearing. Retreat, fall back then. Static. Cole looked at the girl. "They were talking about the pendant," he said. She stared at the dead horizon. "They sensed it. They tried to destroy it. But it destroyed them instead." Cole stepped back, shaken. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. But you accepted it," she said. "The cradle didn't force you. Chose you because you touched me, trusted me." He turned to her. "And what am I now? Some kind of weapon?" She stepped closer and reached out, her hand pressed softly against his chest. "I don't think you're a weapon," she whispered. "I think you're a message." Low vibration rippled through the ground, then dash movement. Distant shapes stirred in the ash. Not scavengers, not soldiers, but tall, dark forms wrapped in metal and bone. They didn't walk. They hovered slightly. Watching, Cole narrowed his eyes. "They're not attacking." The girl's face paled. "They're reading you." Cole felt a pressure in his head, not pain, more like presence. Like something was scanning his thoughts, his memories, his very being. Then a voice not spoken, but inside both their minds. "You carry the blood of exile, the light of queen, the defiance of human. You are not of this cycle." Cole's knees nearly gave out. The voice wasn't angry, it was curious. Ancient, it was not here to destroy it. Was waiting. The alien girl held his hand tightly. "What do they want?" "Hey." Her lips trembled. "They want to see if you'll finish what the last light bound failed to. And if I don't..." She didn't answer, because they both already knew. The world wouldn't survive a second. Time, asterisk, the sky had darkened. Not from clouds, but from the tall, floating figures that now circled them, silent, watching. Their bodies shimmered with a strange, energy, and none of them had faces, only smooth metal masks carved with glowing lines. They were not machines. Not quite alive either. They were remnant sentinels of an ancient cycle that had waited far too long. Cole held the alien girl's hand tightly. She trembled, but didn't step back. Her glow was dim now, not from fear, but from something deeper, like her body knew. This moment was too big to run from. One of the figures moved closer. Its voice came again, not from its mouth, but through their minds. You hold the key. The light has chosen. Will you open the path or seal it again? Cole didn't speak. His chest still burned where the pendant had sunk into his skin. He could feel it now, not like an object inside him, but like a part of his blood, his breath. It was alive. It wanted him to choose. What path? He asked. Eyes narrowed. The sentinel's energy flickered. The path of rebirth. Or the path of silence. The alien girl stepped forward, her voice soft but firm. He doesn't understand your riddles. She was wrong. Cole understood more than he wanted to. The pendant hadn't just shown him visions, it had given him memories. Memories that weren't his. The first light-bound centuries ago had failed to unite their races. He had chosen war, fear, control. That mistake led to the Great Silence, to the loss of both species, to this empty, broken world. Now it was Cole's turn, but this time he wasn't alone. He looked at the girl beside him, her small hand in his. She had given him life with her milk, her courage, her trust. She had nothing when he found her. Should have hated him, feared him. Instead, she loved him, without ever saying the word. She loved him. He stepped forward. The pendant inside his chest began to glow through his skin. The sentinels watched, still and silent. Cole raised his voice. I don't know how to fix the past. I don't know how to bring peace to two broken peoples. I know one thing: this girl, this exile you left to die in the dark, gave me life. She gave me something your wars never could. He turned toward the girl. She gave me a reason to fight for more than just survival. The sky split, not with thunder, but with light. A beam descended from the heavens, striking the ground near them. It didn't burn, it bloomed. The dead earth shifted, cracked, then green grass. For the first time in a generation, something grew. The sentinels backed away, circling around the new growth. The alien girl stared at the grass in awe. This is impossible. Cole smiled faintly. Maybe not anymore. The light spread outward, slowly pushing across the battlefield. Broken metal melted, bones turned to dust. And where death once lived, life now began again. The sentinels rose into the sky, drifting into the clouds until they vanished completely. Their voices echoed one last time in Cole's mind. You have chosen. Let the cycle begin again. The wind returned. Real wind. Fresh air. The girl turned to him, her eyes full of quiet wonder. You changed everything. He shook his head. We did. She smiled, and for the first time it wasn't shy. It wasn't afraid. It was hopeful. They walked hand in hand across the quiet field as the light spread behind them. Cole didn't know what came next. Whether more humans would return, whether the galaxy would learn what had happened here. But he did know this. The world hadn't ended. It had begun. Because even in a broken bunker, even through war and fear and species and blood, life had found a way forward, and it had started with a girl. No one wanted and a man who chose to stay.